I'd recommend Informer 5 to another organization if you're looking to bring in multiple sources of data to produce reports. So, for example, for us, our student information system has a lot of data in and of itself, but it doesn't have all the data. So we have data that lives in maybe health waivers. We have data that lives in, spreadsheets sitting on maybe in a tutoring center or something like that. And we have, some data sitting in surveys that we took of students, and all that's outside the system. And, for us, the ability to bring those in to one place and they live there instead of having them live, in a file on a shared drive. They live in Informer 5 and we can always query them.
I'm most excited about the dataset feature in Informer, the ability to have every department have ownership of their data, to be able to join a bunch of our tables together, to be able to access what is needed, to be able to limit access if needed for departments.
Informer gives a great control over who has access to which data sources, and specific within each data source down to the table level or the column level to say who can do what with so the way the concepts of the users and the teams and the permission sets are very, very granular, and they're granular and they're easy to manage. And that granularity allows us to have users access directly to the data.
So with Informer 5, we're looking to accomplish a way of allowing departments to own their own data, to see it and interact with it. They can apply a lot of filters to it that, before they'd have to do through Excel. And this just gives them the ability to see what they want and break it down in a way that makes sense to them, which doesn't always make sense to us as report writers, because we'll write something and maybe they'll get it and maybe there's fields they didn't need, or maybe they wanted to just see certain values. And now they can filter it on their own.
Informer has really done the job that we initially expected it to do, to be able to connect to various data sources, to be able to refresh queries and refresh data sets on the time span that we needed and the frequencies that we need that. I mean, some things we only need to see once a day, but there are a lot of things that we need to keep track of up to the minute. And one of the strengths of Informer and one thing that was really important to us was to be able to do that. And so that ability to schedule those refreshes for these various data sources as needed was super important.
In my previous position, I was trained to simply write SQL, which is standard query language, to access our database, which was a homegrown solution. Moving to my current position, I truly see the value of Informer as it gives the opportunity for more people to be able to access the data that they own. You don't need to have that technical training. You have a staff. Ideally, your IT support staff has set up your database and all your connections behind the scenes so that you are able to go and access the data that you own, that you need to report on with confidence, and be able to put together the reports in a timely fashion, and be able to share those.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of use by teams of people who can go in and edit their own reports, or, like I said, bring in other data sources that we, as the original report writers, wouldn't have access to. And prior to this, they'd have to send us that data. So they'd have to send us something and ask us to massage it into the report before sending it back. And now they have the ability to do that because we've allowed them to do that and train them on how to do that. And so that's helped us not only by saving us time as report writers, but also, it's made the report better because they can see, oh, wait, I can bring in this other source of data, which I thought, I didn't have the ability to do before. And now they can add that in.
My ERP has reporting capabilities and my CRM has reporting capabilities. Why do I need to use another BI tool to do that same reporting when I have these other tools? And there are a couple of questions to it. One is that my BI tool can report from my CRM and my ERP at the same time. And that's huge. It is really huge. The other part is that it is flexible. And if I see a tweak that I want to make a change to, something a little different, then I can do that myself. And I don't have to rely on or wait for somebody else from the ERP or the CRM consultant. Another really, really, really big piece of that, though, is I can report from those data sources, and I've got better control over the information than if I'm giving someone access to a CRM client or an ERP client.
It allowed them to see how data sources are connected to data sets, and data sets are connected to the reports and the visuals that are there. And it offered a level of complexity which allowed a lot of the stuff that had to be done, maybe for us, afterwards in Excel or in Access, to be done all within Informer 5.
It's really a strength of the tool. I think a core strength of the tool that we can talk to different systems and talk to them together. So previously I might report on this thing and I might report on this thing. Here's the ERP, here's the delivery system. But now with Informer, I report on them both at the same time. This is a real example. I have a application where products are delivered throughout the day, and I need to keep track of that delivery both from the delivery software and also from the ERP and see what the status is of that delivery. And so with the ability to schedule that, those data queries and those data refreshes, that specifically has helped accomplish the task of keeping track of where those orders are throughout the day.
We're refreshing our data sets, our data sources, and bringing some of their data in on demand as needed. And it's allowing us to operate not just more efficiently, but better than we were before.
Connect up to any data source you want. Here's how you do it, and go. And so we were able to do that without a whole lot of training or any lead time. So installed the server and started connecting the data sources and started reporting. So it was as agile as what I'd really hoped it would be. And that was the reason we chose it, and that's the experience we had.